Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drooks Milan Unboxing. What a weekend we've got going on. Busy weekend. The first fight of significance starts on Friday night in Bolton, England. It's a fight that we have a lot of interest in, especially here in the Western Cape. Boxing around the Cape Town area sort of revolves around a couple of names. We've got junior lightweight Lunga Sitemela. We've got the South African heavyweight champion Tiaan Fik. We've got Abdul Aziz Kunert, a featherweight who just challenged for the SA title, lost a narrow decision, who's now based in Joburg with Colin Nathan. And then, of course, we've got Thembani, Baby Jake Mbangatha, undefeated, 11-0 with 5 knockouts. And he's going to Bolton, England to challenge for the Commonwealth title, the Commonwealth featherweight title on Friday night. And he's taking on another undefeated fighter, Nathaniel Collins. They call him the Nightmare. He's 8-0 with 3 knockouts. Now, Thembani Mbangatha is a guy that I know well, of course. I commentated ringside on his last fight, where he stopped Apiwe Masingwana in 3 rounds. He was very impressive. He was coming off shoulder surgery, because in his fight before that, he went 10 rounds. He won on points against Dr. Nsele. I was ringside for that as well. He dislocated his right shoulder grotesquely. They popped it back in the corner, and he somehow managed to win the fight fighting with one hand. So what we know about Mbangatha is he can overcome adversity. He's got heart. He'll stick in that fight and he'll try his utmost to win. He's a policeman away from the ring, very stand-up guy, so we wish him all the best. He's nicknamed Baby Jake, and he doesn't really physically resemble Baby Jake, but Klala, the right WBO junior flyweight and flyweight champion. But the thing that is similar to the late Baby Jake is that Mbangatha has got a very high work rate. He throws punches and bunches, and lots of them. He keeps coming. He works behind a very quick jab, quick combinations to the head and body, and a very good all-round boxer. Now, that is a thing that might serve him in good stead against Nathaniel Collins. Collins has represented Scotland at the Commonwealth Games. He's got a solid amateur grounding behind him. He's 8-0, but he hasn't been beyond 6 rounds yet. So I would say that Thembani Mbangatha has got a more diverse experience inside the ring that could serve him well on Friday night. So that's his advantage that he's got there. Now, Collins, he's 8-0, 3 knockouts. I think he's got more power than his 3 knockouts suggest. I think it came into play later in his career. In his last fight was July of this year, and he stopped Felix Williams of Ghana in 3 rounds very impressively to win the Commonwealth title. Now, Felix Williams came into that fight with a 29-2 record, went the distance against Josh Wale. So it was, on paper at least, a quality opponent. Now, Mbangatha has got nobody on his record to compare to that. Although I must say, perhaps he flattered Collins a little bit. Williams fought like he didn't really want to be there. He looked a bit passive to me. But still, I would say the quality of opposition is on the side of Nathaniel Collins. And I'm a guy who's big on quality of opposition if you watch this channel. Now, Mbangatha has been through deep waters, as we've said, and I think his strategy must be to not let Nathaniel Collins settle into a rhythm, because Collins is a very solid southpaw. He throws a strong looping left around the guard from a southpaw stance. He's got a good jab. He's got all the punches in the book. He's a very well-rounded boxer, but he fights at a steady pace. He controls the pace. It's a steady pace. It's not extremely high pace. It's a good work rate, a good clip, but not as high as Mbangatha. And I think Mbangatha could be the slightly quicker guy of the two with speed of hand and foot. So Mbangatha needs to get on him and keep busy like we know he can be, and up the ante round by round. Drag Collins into deep water. He needs to get out of the first half of the fight and then make Collins more and more uncomfortable, and that's the way he can win the fight. Now, I think this is a winnable fight for Thembani Mbangatha. Nathaniel Collins is from Scottish heritage, but I don't think it's the same thing as another Scot. You'll remember years ago, Warren Uber went over to the UK and he fought an up-and-coming Josh Taylor, and he had no chance really to win there. Collins is a good solid fighter by the looks of it, but he's not Josh Taylor. He's not an elite level fighter. I don't see that in him. He's just a solid all-round fighter. But the thing that worries me with Thembani Mbangatha, the last time he fought, when he looked impressive, was in December of 2019. He hasn't fought since, so he'll be having 2 years worth of ring rust to shake off. And That's a major factor that worries me. And it's also his first time fighting overseas in a hostile environment. He's used to fighting here in Cape Town where everybody is cheering for him. How will he handle that? I would really have liked it if he had a bit more experience taking slightly easier fights overseas just to get his toes wet. When Brian Mitchell was world champion, you had Welcome Nita over that shoulder of mine fighting on his undercard against opponents that were good but not world beaters, not guys where he comes in as an underdog to get that feeling. And when Welcome Nita was world champion, Uyani Bungu was sort of an understudy fighting on the undercard. And it went on and on like that with fighters like Philip Holiday, Eki Butler more recently. Even he had some fights on undercards overseas against guys that are not world beaters just to get his toe wet on the international stage. And I wish that Mbangatha and our other fighters could have that opportunity. But it's a COVID situation. Our currency is worth almost nothing. So we don't get what we want. We get what we get. So we'll have to see how Mbangatha handles a hostile crowd, just like we have to see how Nathaniel Collins will handle adversity, because he's had it all his own way so far in his pro career. But I think the major factor is that inactivity worries me about Mbangatha. He's a guy that needs his reflexes, needs to be sharp, and you can only get that much done in the gym. So that is what will lead me to pick Collins to win this fight on points because of that inactivity factor on the Mbangatha sides. But all of us here in South Africa, especially here in Cape Town area, we're rooting for Thembani and Mbangatha to bring that Commonwealth belt home. I think he can do it, but because of that inactivity, I just can't pick him to pull it off. But I think he's a live dog in this fight. It could be his breakout night, or it could not. But having said that, we support you, Team Baby Jake, Thembani and Mbangatha, and Coach Steve Newton. All the best. I hope you guys bring it home. And until we see each other again, please remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and please give it a thumbs up. It will help YouTube to find me. And until we see each other again, remember to keep those gloves up.